She's not your typical pageant girl. Growing up on a small farm in Louisiana, Brittany Hebert loved the outdoors, clay shooting with her dad, and raising lambs with 4-H. It was her mom who encouraged her to enter the local Miss Arcadia pageant.
I wasn't excited about it at first, and then, long story short, it changed my life.
Brittany didn't expect to win, but she was crowned, an experience that led her to St. Jude Children's Hospital.
Winning Miss Arcadia allowed us to volunteer at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. And I had not traveled north of I-10 in my entire life. We cooked a gumbo for the families and patients, and we hosted a Mardi Gras carnival. And I actually met a little boy named Dalton, who was 7 years old at the time, and he was very, very sick from his chemo treatments. That was the moment that really God had showed me my vocation in life.
A few years later, Brittany was in college at the University of Louisiana Lafayette when she and other former beauty queens were asked to help raise $10,000 for St. Jude.
We decided to put on a sporting clay tournament. I was shooting sporting clays actively growing up with my dad, and it was a passion of mine. I grew up in the outdoors. I grew up on a farm. I decided to put together the plan and figure out a budget of how to raise 10 grand.
But Brittany stunned everyone, raising a lot more than that with her first clay shooting tournament.
We raised $50,000 on top of that, and so that's what kicked off the entire program of Sky High.
And that's when her life changed. Brittany dropped her plans to go on to law school. Instead, she moved to Houston to take a job in the oil and gas industry and expanded her newly formed nonprofit right here in the Bayou City. She recruited donors from oil and gas companies.
Now we host some of the largest sporting clay tournaments across the state of Texas. It's crazy because the first year we only raised $10,000 and we had 75 shooting participants. And now we host 1,000 shooters and raise upwards of $900,000 in a weekend event in Houston, Texas.
It's now been over a decade since Sky High was formed, and it's raised a total of $7.5 million for pediatric cancer research.
So we took $5 million of those dollars and we built the surgery and ICU center at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis.
Another $750,000 went directly to Texas Children's Hospital right here in Houston.
It's actually going to go fund the Sky High Tumor Biology Center, which is a new center that we're establishing that's going to give us the ability to look at the specific mutations in a child's cancer.
And Sky High has now expanded beyond clay shoots, hosting golf tournaments, banquets, and auctions. Brittany and her volunteers visit patients at Texas Children's Hospital, like 12-year-old Brady Birch.
They've really impacted Brady through his hospital stays.
Brady has a long history at Texas Children's.
When Brady was born, we found out that he had aortic stenosis with severe LV dysfunction, and we learned that he needed a heart transplant to survive.
When he was just 3 months old, Brady became the first patient in Texas ever to be hooked up to what's called the Berlin heart. It's an artificial pump that continually helps the heart pump blood. 2 days later, he underwent a successful heart transplant, but that wasn't the end of it.
With transplants, they tell you, you're trading one disease for another, and it's not a cure.
Brady now has to receive infusions of what's called IVIG. It's a treatment that helps boost his immune system.
I come and I get IVIG every 3 to 4 weeks, 6 weeks, every month sometimes.
When Brady first started coming to Texas Children's Hospital, we would travel here, and when he was in ICU, we would have to stay at the Ronald McDonald House. And it was organizations like Sky High that came in that would bring dinners and lunches and be there just to talk about something different other than what was going on in your life at the time.
They bring up snacks, gifts, games, and really just lift his spirits.
Oh, I love Sky High. They do amazing things for people here, and it just helps me get my mind off of doing my stuff, and I can just have fun while being in a hospital.
And it's patients like Brady that inspire Brittany and the Sky High team every single day.
For us to be in this position, to be able to make such a big difference in people's lives is just amazing to us.
I never in a million years imagined that we would build such a remarkable foundation that is doing something bigger than ourselves. I lay down at night and I'm like, is this a dream?
And what all started as a clay shooting tournament is now helping to save lives.
It truly impacts every single family in ways that cannot be described.